Good evening. My name is Shay McClellan, and I am here to present to you on the case study for EDL 853. Section 1 talks about the case summary. The who, what, where, and when of the case. So the who is Miguel Hernandez, who moved to Nottingham High School in Dover with his parents and three brothers. The family moved there based on the academics and football program. The what of the case summary is that Miguel suffered a spinal injury in a football game, leaving him paralyzed from the waist down. The where is after completing rehabilitation, Miguel was ready to return to school with the use of a wheelchair. When he returned to school, he was told that his schedule was changed because the class he was in, and his biology class was not in a wheelchair accessible classroom. Section 2, the legal and ethical issues. Some of the ethical issues have to do with the family that has to fight these battles, still has three more children to go through the same school district, so we'll still be having to deal with the same staff and administration down the road. The school has provided a class that meets the graduation requirements. It just doesn't meet his college program requirements, and the school does not have the financial ability to complete the entire building, bringing it up to ADA code at this time. The legal issues is that no 504 was developed to accommodate Miguel's needs as a student with disabilities, and the Free and Appropriate Public Education Act. He was removed from a class he needed due to his physical restrictions based on the school building, not on his own, based on his own accord, and the changes were made without the input of his parent or legal guardian. Section 3, what happened? Oops, sorry. Let me get back to where we were. Section 3, what happened? So in a nutshell, the school did not provide the appropriate accommodations or consider a 504 plan to ensure that Miguel had the accommodations needed for him to be successful in the learning environment. Some of the facts, the people. So Miguel, a little bit about Miguel. Miguel was a starting quarterback at Nottingham High School and been starting since his sophomore year. He was known as a hard worker. And one Friday night during a home game, he was tackled in the game and suffered a spinal injury. He was hospitalized and went through rehabilitation, which left him unable to walk. After rehabilitation, he was eager to return to school with the use of a wheelchair. Other people that played factors in this: Dr. Harvey, who is the superintendent of Dover School District, well known and liked within the district, cultivates a sense of community within the district and the community. Miss Gussman, who is the counselor of Nottingham High School, met with Miguel's parents, then met with Miguel, changed Miguel's schedule, taking him out of biology and putting him into another science class, which met his graduation requirements, but didn't meet the requirements that he needed to get into the college program that he wanted. Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez are the parents of 4 boys in the Dover School District, including Miguel. They advocate for Miguel to return to school as soon as possible, as soon as he was ready, and advocate for him to be in the biology class that he wanted to complete. Howard Carey is an attorney hired to represent Miguel to ensure his needs were met. The place is Nottingham High School. Only It's the only high school within the Dover School District. Approximately 3,200 students attend the school. It was built in the 1950s with major reconstruction projects throughout its time, having some classrooms, trailer classrooms around the school. And most of the school has been brought up to the code in terms of accessibility. However, 1/4 of the building has still not been brought up to accessibility code based on lack of funding. The program, this is a public school education program, providing general education curriculum. As far as Miguel is concerned, there is special education services, but that's not what Miguel is in need of. A biology class is the class that's in particular discussion in this. It's a college preparatory class and meets the requirements for graduation, and one that meets the requirements for the program that Miguel is trying to enter after high school. So just to review information, there's potential immediate and long-term damage impacting to the stakeholders. Miguel is not able to take the college course he wants to get into the program he wants because of not taking the correct science class, not receiving the accommodations he needs to be successful in class. No 504 plan was provided to provide the accommodations to him in high school or that will follow him into college. The school is not providing the 504 or following FAPE, which can lead to damaging lawsuit. The counselor could have legal or professional ramifications for changing schedule and not providing appropriate services and accommodations for a student. And the community could face increased taxes to pay for a completion of remodel to bring the high school building up to ADA accessibility code. Section 5, review of information, some unanswered questions that I have. These are just a few of the questions that popped to my head as I was going through this information. Was the 504 plan ever discussed or offered to the family? What accommodations were offered to complete the biology class? Was the schedule change discussed with Miguel? Was the schedule change discussed with Miguel or his parents prior to being implemented? Is Miguel 18 years old at this time? That makes a difference of who the 504 plan should be discussed with and offered to. Has the family requested a 504 plan prior to bringing in an attorney? So just a few of the questions I had. Possible options. So here's some of the possible options I came up with. Option 1, do nothing and get the district attorney involved to communicate with the family's attorney. Option 2, develop a 504 plan to provide accommodations and any needed services to Miguel and change the location of biology class so that it meets in a room that Miguel is able to participate in. Option 3, develop an independent study class for Miguel to complete his biology requirements. And option 4, assist Miguel in exploring other college programs that do not require biology class. Option 1, doing nothing. Some of the pros for this is it's not going to cost no cost to school for renovation, for money that they don't have at this time. No other classes are uprooted. Miguel can still attend all of his other classes, and Miguel meets the graduation requirements. Cons: the school faces possible lawsuit. Miguel is unable to apply for the college program he desires. Miguel has schedule change, and the counselor could face professional consequences for not being ethical in regarding the schedule change or meeting the needs of the student. Option 2, developing a 504 and changing the location of the biology class. The pros to this would be that Miguel gets support he needs to be successful in school. Miguel gets to complete biology class with his peers. Miguel does not have to change his schedule. Miguel gets to attend the college program of his choice, and Miguel will have a 504 plan that will follow him to college as needed. Cons is the entire biology class will have to change rooms for a class. It takes some personnel time and resources to evaluate and develop a 504 plan, and the accommodations and services will not be identified the day Miguel starts classes. So not everything will be up and running when Miguel is ready to start. Option 3, develop an independent study class to complete biology requirements. Pros, Miguel will meet the requirements for a college program. School is providing the biology class that Miguel needs. Some of the cons is that class is not being completed with his classmates. School is not providing the accommodations Miguel needs, and Miguel may not get the full learning experience through an independent study class. And option 4, assisting Miguel in exploring other college programs. Miguel may find another program he's more interested in. Miguel's interests may have changed now that football is not a factor, and the college exploration needs to be reviewed again to know his college options. Some of the cons is Miguel should not have to explore other options because the school cannot meet his needs. Miguel still does not have the 504 plan that he needs, and Miguel needs a more immediate answer to his situation. Doing the exploration, that's going to take some time, and it's not going to get him into the class or the needs that he get his needs met right away. Making a decision. As an administrator involved in the situation, I would choose option number 2. I would implement a 504 plan to meet the needs as long as the parents are in agreement. Accommodation services need to be addressed in the plan. I know they say in the case scenario that only thing that he needs is classroom accessible, but other things I thought of that Miguel might need is things like delayed passing or early passing periods, so he's not in the hallway with all 3,200 students in his wheelchair. That might be cause some congestion or cause him issues where if he passed early, that would be more accommodating. It might be against the school rules for him to carry his backpack, but he might need to carry his with him. He might need breaks. So just different situations, different accommodations that he might need. So we need to look at those as a team and decide what truly is needed to help support Miguel as he returns to school. I would move the biology class to a room where Miguel is able to access it so that he can continue to attend. Just a simple flip of a couple classes where all the other students could be in the classroom that's not wheelchair accessible. I'd work with the school board and superintendent to develop a plan to complete the remodeling project to ensure the building is ADA compliant. And I'd meet with Miguel and his parents along with the other stakeholders to reassure the family that Miguel's needs will be addressed and services will be provided throughout the school. Section 9, Implementation. Through implementation of this plan, communication is a must. Communicating with the district superintendent and the district attorney that the family has legal representation. That communication needs to go between the legal representation of both parties. Communication with the family that the school would like to move forward with a 504 plan if they are interested, and get the ball rolling with that. Help them understand that that is something that not only will help him in high school, but will also follow him to college. Communicate with Ms. Gussman about a more appropriate approach to handling the situation in the future as far as the schedule change, the 504, and dealing with the student and the family, and then communicating with staff about moving the classroom around to place Miguel in an accessible classroom. So just getting the ball rolling with talking to different community members and, with members, stakeholders on how to, what needs to be done to get Miguel into school and the services and accommodations he needs. Implementation. So with every plan, a person should have a backup plan. If the family does not want a 504 plan, the school should document the family declined the plan and still place biology class in the ADA accessible classroom. Contact district attorney to meet with the attorney's family still and provide accommodations the family is requesting as they pertain to Miguel's education, and document all that was offered and accepted as well as offered and declined. And bottom line is, in situations like this, document, document, document. And finally, here are the references I use regarding the 504 plan and the FAPE. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my presentation, and I hope you have a great evening.